Hi, I'm Ben McClintock, the co-founder of Defending Utah at defendingutah.org. Mandates issued by mayors and governors across the country are getting a lot of press and causing a lot of controversy. Some people claim that they're illegal, but recently Utah Governor Gary Herbert claimed that the 10th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution gave him the authority to issue these mandates when he said,
"This is an issue that's been tested under the 10th Amendment of the Constitution. The Supreme Court has weighed in on this a number of times, saying we have the ability to make this a mandate."
That was on July 17th, 2020. What does the 10th Amendment say, and does he actually have the right? The 10th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution says, quote, "The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people." The word "or" in this instance didn't refer to the idea of the states and the people being two different entities, but that the people were the states. The people as individuals retained these powers. The U.S. Constitution gives the general government powers that the Founding Fathers called few and defined. To make it clear that the powers given were limited, the 10th Amendment was added to the Constitution, clearly laying out the fact that if the Constitution didn't specifically give the federal government that power, they could not do it, and that any power not given to them was the power kept by the people themselves. Does that mean that the states have the authority to be as authoritarian as they want to be? Clearly, that is an absurd idea. Article 4 of the U.S. Constitution guarantees every state in the Union a republican form of government. In short, that means that each state must be based on the idea found in the Declaration of Independence that we are given by our Creator certain inalienable rights, and that government's role is to protect those rights. And to do that, the general as well as state governments implement what is referred to as separation of powers. With three branches of government given different jobs the other branches are prohibited from engaging in. These branches are the legislative, and they write the laws; the executive, they implement the laws passed by the legislature; and the judicial, they settle arguments. James Madison rightly observed, "The accumulation of all powers, legislative, executive, and judiciary, in the same hands, whether of one, a few, or many, and whether hereditary, self-appointed, or elective, may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny." In other words, the power to make law cannot be combined into the same person that executes the law under any circumstance, or you have yourself a tyrant. Not only is each branch prohibited from taking these powers upon themselves, each branch is prohibited from giving their power to any of the other branches of government. The legislature cannot execute laws. The executive cannot adjudicate, and so on. But didn't the governor say that the courts have ruled on this? Herbert was referring to Jacobson versus Massachusetts. This Supreme Court opinion stated that because of the 10th Amendment, the states retained the authority to implement compulsory vaccination laws passed by the legislature. Now, I disagree that anyone has the authority to force you to inject something into your body. But just setting that aside, this court opinion wasn't talking about dictatorial decrees of the governor. It was referring to law that had to go through the rigorous process of being introduced in committee, then going to the floor of the House, then going to the Senate committee, then to a full vote on the floor of the Senate, and then after all of that, being approved by the governor. Why? Because the executive branch, the governor, has no authority to make law, even if you call that law something else, like a mandate. Laws or mandates that violate the Constitution, either in its delegation of powers or the separation of powers, are what the Founding Fathers called pretend legislation. The Founders also told us to nullify or ignore all pretend legislation. In short, the president, the governor, or your city mayor has no authority to make laws. If you like these videos, we are doing more and going more in depth into these topics to help us to better understand what's really going on, to help you know what questions to ask and how to stand up for your rights. Subscribe to this channel, share this video with others. Make sure that your elected officials understand what's going on and that it will not be tolerated that your rights continue to be stripped away. Until next time, I'm Ben McClintock from defendingutah.org.